Hey guys, it's Kate, and I thought I would do something kind of fun today. I have basically my first palette I ever actually put together. So I bought this in early 2018, and I had gotten a couple of those other, like little $5, pan palette sets at the store, but this is the first one I actually got tubes of watercolor and filled my own palette. So this I made with the Royal Langnickel Essentials 24 color palette. This is my original swatch. And so this right here is about 5 years old, and I used the heck out of it. And I haven't used it actually in several years since I started getting different watercolors. And I kind of looked at it, and you can see just how dried out these are, but they have been filled and refilled. It's a well-loved palette. So I thought today I would try to re-wet this and use some of these paints. And, I've definitely bought and enjoyed other palettes since then, but this one was the first set, and I was just so excited to have it. So I am going to do just a little something today, and hopefully you'll join me. So I am going to get my spray, and these definitely are just bone dry. But I have a feeling they will re-wet okay. And then I might clean this a little bit too. And you know what? I mean, being sort of a beginner painter myself, I mean, I have done things over the years, but until the last few months, it's been pretty sporadic. And it is just, sometimes you just use what you have on hand, and I really enjoyed these. I mean, you have a lot of different varieties of products that you can buy, a lot of different paints, but you can enjoy really any art supply. I mean, from the dollar store or anywhere, you get to know the things that you like and get to know your preferences as you try more products. But, for somebody who wants to put color on a page, this will do the trick. Absolutely. So I'm going to see, actually, I'm going to moisten my paper a bit too. These need all the moisture they can get, let's be honest. So I like to spray both sides of my paper to help it prevent it from buckling. And then I will kind of brush this in a little bit too. And then I can have a good surface to work on for wet and wet, which I like. All right, so I'm going to grab, let's see, I'm going to do my number 8 round. And I've got a blotting paper towel right here off to the side and my water back there. So let's see what we've got. This deep green was a favorite. I hit the bottom of the pan on this one, so I am going to dip right in here. And let's see how it looks. Still looks like it wets. It's pretty rich. Let's see. So this is going down really nicely, actually. I'm pretty surprised. The things that happen off of camera, the joys of life. I love this color. So that's probably why I used a bunch of it. So let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go into this green here and see how, oh, they blend nice too. See, I don't know why people get down on some of these really budget brands, because for somebody who's never used watercolor, I mean, come on, that's awesome. They blend okay. I wonder if I were to drop in let's see, some of this rose. I feel like I need to spray these again because they really are dry. But at the same time, they're re-wetting fine. I'm really shocked, actually. All right. That's a nice color. I mean, look at that. And I like how it just goes together here. The blending is pretty soft, which I think I really remember liking when I got the palette too. I remember doing a lot of those like little galaxy paintings just to kind of practice blending watercolor, and those were some favorites. I mean, I still kind of bring a little bit of that in here today. I think what is great about watercolor is how everything just blends together. And it's almost like you don't have any control, and it's also fun to figure out how to improve your control as you work with the medium. And that's kind of what drew me, I think, to watercolor. But, I mean, I can't be mad at this. Look at that color. And I actually looked this up. So in US dollars today, I believe this exact, in the tubes, because you'd have to fill up your own pans and palette, but in the tubes, I believe it's right around $10 for the set, which is not bad at all. Okay, I'm going to go into this purple. Oh. That's pretty. Come on. I'm so glad I opened these up. Let's see, what do we want next? I'm just gonna be really colorful in here too. Well, I guess I better get some more mauve. I don't want just that one little area there with mauve. So I'll put it in down here a little bit and get some more blending going on. Now, I do have to, in this palette, I think it's, you know, the colors are really nice if you get enough pigment on your brush. But these are the ones you can really kind of just go around and around in with your brush, and it's not going to be overpowering. Now, on another palette I have, the pigment is so strong, it just immediately is very, very bright on the page. So this actually makes it kind of nice where it's, yeah, probably for some of these colors, they're very pigmented. I find a lot of reds are pretty strong on any of the brands I've ever tried, but sometimes like your roses and your purples can be kind of weak, and a few of the blues for me that I've noticed, but I haven't tried a lot of watercolor, so your market may vary. Let's see. Why don't we try some of this yellow? That's nice. I'm just gonna dot some of this in here. And the paint, I mean, it's 5 years old. It's been sitting in these approximately 5 years, and it's re-wetting just fine. So watercolors, they could last forever. Who knows? That's very nice. What do you think? Seeing this, would you buy this palette? I'd like to know. Is it the nicest watercolor out there? No. Does it work? Does it get color on the page? Absolutely. I would use this. So my paper's starting to dry a little bit here, so I'm getting a little bit of a glazing effect instead of blending. So I think I'm going to call this good and let that dry and come back for some doodles and other happenings on the page. I will see you in just a moment. So I am back, and as you can see, this is dry and the colors stayed pretty bright and the blending was nice. Now you can see up here where I kind of had more of a glazing effect because some of it had dried before I went over it again with my brush. But overall, I'm really happy with how this looked. I'm going to do a quick close-up, and you can see, you know, there is some texture there from the paint, the way it dried, but the blending is nice, the colors are nice. It doesn't really have a chalky film to it like you might expect a cheap paint. I mean, it's not the best paint in the world, but I really enjoyed using this for quite a while before I got different paints, and I still really like to use sort of the student grade paints. Eventually I will start incorporating more of the professional paints into my palettes, but you know, for what I do and for how I like to practice, I like that I don't have to be precious with my art supplies, and this really fits the bill for I think $10 still, but just check your area. And they're 5 years old and they still go down like this. Now they look really terrible in the palette, but you know, they re-wet, so I guess they still work. I might have to start taking them out again. So I grabbed this Uniball pen and I'm going to do some doodles. So I hope you'll join me. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. This was kind of intuitive, just sort of playing around. So let's just kind of dive in and do some mark making, shall we? I'm going to start down here and just do some little circles. How's that? I think there's something so relaxing about doing doodles over watercolor, because watercolor takes away so much of your control, where you really just, you don't have any choice sometimes where things will be. And it's kind of nice because you can surprise yourself by how things turn out and how much you might like something that, you know, you had no idea about. And sometimes it also is surprising what other people like. I know, you know, I've had some videos that I've made where I thought to myself, oh man, people are just going to love this, and I love it. And then it doesn't really get much in the way of views. And then some that I just myself, I'm like, well, you know, I maybe could have done better there or something different. It wasn't my favorite, and I get the most engagement. So you just never know. People like different things, but it's all part of growing, right? So I'm kind of tracing. I think what I'm going to do is kind of trace through here with some of my dots where I have this purple sort of vein that I had done. And I think that'll be something kind of nice to tie everything together once I finish with all the doodles that I'm going to do. I do love dots. I love the texture. Dots, circles, all of that. They're just nice. And you can vary size and everything and just have them really work out in whatever you're making. I'm going to bring these around this way just a little bit. And I'm going to fill in a little bit more here. Like that. I think that looks pretty good. And maybe some more over here in this area. So do you all do very much doodles? Do you have a favorite mark that you really enjoy making when you're working on a piece? Hopefully you're all taking some time out of the day to do some mark making, some watercolor, some acrylic painting, even if you're grabbing a #2 pencil and some notebook paper. It's really worth doing. And it opens up the creativity. I'm going to do some squares now in this green area. And I'm not being perfect with them, but something with a hard edge isn't a bad idea, I don't think. All right. Now I think I'm going to put in a little shape here. And I'm just going to follow the edge, just like that. I like that. Just some lines. Oops. And I think I'm gonna lengthen it out a bit like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm just going to follow that contour. And I'm not too worried about doing it right along the line. I'm just going to follow it fairly closely, but still doodly. Just like that. And then I'm going to start in right here. What do you think? This is a good way to practice mindfulness. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be mindful that I don't put my hand over anything wet. What do you think of that? I really like that. Let's do this one. Yeah. Now I'm going to go right around this way. just like that. Boy, I don't know if this really needs much more. I kind of like the colors. I think I'm going to go in with my black painter's pen. This I did a video on. I did a review of some different pens and paint markers, and this one is very good. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it's very opaque. It goes down pretty nicely, and it is waterproof when it dries, so that works really well too. Okay, I'm going to go around some of this yellow. Just like that. And we'll put some black dots in there. And anything goes. That's my Scampy girl. She says hello. She always wants attention around this time of day, or really any time of day. So you ask me what time it is, it's time for some cat pets. You know, now that I'm doing this, I should have stopped at the white. The yellow is just, now it's so much a focal point. It's not in the background anymore. It's in your face. That yellow is like, bam. Okay. Well, there'll just be some sort of like, I don't know, a worm or something. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'll put those in the background a little bit and go over some of these squares. Just a few. So this isn't just a doodle session that's relaxing, but it's also, how do you get rid of something that you don't really like all that well? I kind of like that. What do you think? Maybe just a couple little black dots going through here. I think that helps a lot. Yes, that definitely helps. I think my favorite thing on this page is these. I really, really like how those turned out. Yes. Wondering if I should do The black in other areas has really helped with these yellow things. But you know, hey, I was just talking about people liking the things I wouldn't expect, so I guess we'll see. But I might add just a couple little circles through here, just like that. That's lonely. It needs a friend. This one too. Okay. I think we're gonna call that good. What do you think? What would you do differently? Do you like the worms? That's my pressing question for today. Where would you have stopped, and would you keep going here? Who knows? The sky's the limit. Doodles are very fun to make, and there is always another piece of paper with watercolor waiting for the doodles. So I really hope you enjoyed this little journey with me today, and until next time, keep creating.